Beautiful Saturday morning in Hollister, California. It's cold. It's about 6:30 in the morning, and I was going to walk you around the job. We're going to wait for a few people to show up, and then we'll take you around, let you ask some questions, and show you around here a little bit. I know it's early, but over on the East Coast, you East Coast guys are up. West Coast, you guys are probably still in bed. So we're going to just hang out here, see how the stream goes, see how many people show up, and we're going to take you and show you around a Barzy job site. I haven't really showed this in a long time, but we've got a conveyorized powder coating system going in right now. All right, we got two people here. If you can hear me and the stream is clean and the video isn't all choppy, throw up a comment and say hello. And I'm going to flip the camera around here a little bit and I'll show you around the job. We got 4 people watching now. If you can hear me okay and see me okay, throw up a comment and say, hey, stay on your 5x5. All right. But here behind me, I'm going to spin you around this way. There's some conveyor pieces there, the big blue piece, and these big wagon wheels right here behind me. That's all conveyor. There's a GEMA Smart booth back there in the back. Tools for machines. Oh, Gary, how you doing? Stream is great. Okay, good deal. Let me flip the camera around. Let me figure out how to do that. I think it's this button. There we go. All right. Thanks, Gary. I hope you're doing well. I haven't heard from you in a long time. I haven't seen a video from you in a long time. But we're going to show you around this job site. And it's kind of a mess right now. We haven't cleaned in a few days. But what we've got there is that's considered a composite washer, which means it's a polyethylene walls, stainless steel drain pans, and stainless steel tanks. And it's a conveyorized polyethylene washer. I don't even know what that ladder's doing up there. I think it's just being stored. There's a I-beam rail right there. That's a stainless steel I-beam rail. Stainless steel dead fronts. And then these are polyethylene panels, 3/4 of an inch thick. And they snap into these rails and they actually snap inside the tank right here. And I'll take you inside the washer and show you around too. But this washer is 72 feet long. And it's a big old monster. And let's see if I can get in a little closer. There's the pumps for the washer. That's the actual tank and a tank lid, so you can get to the water surface and treat your water. Water level switch right there. Pump, which is a gusher type pump that's submerged in the tank, so you never have to worry about your priming your pumps or anything. The impeller is actually submerged. And then there is another pump and another tank access there for treating the water. That's all one big tank. But those head has a 3-inch header that goes up to the top of the washer there, and it goes to the spray bars inside. And I'll show you that inside here in a little while. We got 8 people watching now. And like I said, my job site's a mess right now. I got crates everywhere, stuff just half built and half laying around. Bunch of oven panels there. That's an oven lid. Those were actually out in the rain, and I had to get them in and get them draining because this rock wool got wet, and these panels probably weighed 3 times more than they should have. So we got them inside, got them up on, we got them up on wood blocks and got them draining, so get some weight out of them. And when they first fire that oven, it's going to turn this whole room into a sauna. It's going to be really steamy. There's an access door for the washer. There's a second rinse tank. The first tank I showed you back here, that tank there is actually a hot water. So the parts come in at that end of the washer, come through. They get hot water and some kind of soap. It's probably like an iron phosphate wash. And then they come here for a cold water rinse. And there's actually a burner. You probably can't see it. It's underneath. The burner plugs right there, and there's a heat exchanger submerged in that tank. That's why that tank is so large, to make room for the heat exchanger. Second one, cold water rinse. And then we've got a third one, which they usually mix some water with a sealer that goes on the metal as it's passing through the conveyor. So there'll be a sealer in there mixed with the water. Let's see if we can get into the tank. Okay, you're inside of a washer. I'm going to take you down to the entrance where the parts come in. And these are all pitched drain pans. They all pitch both ways. Hey Jerry, how you doing? All right, I'm going to show you down the full length of the washer. That's a conveyor slot up top, and then that I-beam sits in there. Up above you, there's a steam vent. That's a powered blower to keep steam from rolling out of the ends of the washer. Because, like I said, this is a hot water washer, so it'll be steamy. And then you've got those pipes that came out of the pumps go to a header up above the washer, and they come down to this header pipe here. And these clips, they just clip on with an O-ring all the way down here. And then these are washer nozzles here, and these are like an eyeball socket. You can aim them, and these just clip onto the pipe too with an O-ring behind here. So the nozzles are real easy to service and clean because they do clog. So you can do everything with your bare hands inside the washer, and it's easy to access, and it's pretty bright in here. The polyethylene, lends some natural light inside the washer. If this was an all stainless washer, this would just be a dark hole. So it's pretty good the way it sits right now. R. Stephen Lang, how you doing? Good morning. I'm showing people around my job site this morning, Stephen. We're up here in Hollister, California, and I'm showing people around our job site here. So anyways, this is the hot water section, and right now we're looking down at the tank. It's below me here, below these grates. And directly below these grates, there's the heat exchanger that stays submerged. JC Machine Shop Services, hello. So anyways, parts come out here. The Great Divide is right here. I don't know if you can see the break point right there. That any water that gets here drains that way, and any water that gets there drains that way. So these drain pans are pitched. These drain pans are all 304 stainless. This is all welded construction. We actually had to weld this together here in the field. They couldn't ship this thing in one piece, so this thing got welded all in one shot after we brought it all in. It came on 4 trucks. And then they've got some mister bars here. We don't want when the parts are going through the washer, we don't want them to dry out. So we got a couple little header bars that just have a couple little misters in them. I've got misters down here in this box. Yeah, I got a whole box of misters down there. These are a very fine. These take a threaded plug. See, the two are different. That one's got an 1/8" pipe in it. That one's got a nozzle already in it. And the misters take a nozzle. You just screw those nozzles in there, clip them on. But those misters go in these head pipes here, so the parts don't dry out on the way through. And then when it gets to the next stage, we're still misting here. This is the rinse section. So yeah, if you wanted to hang yourself on the I-beam and roll yourself through, you could get a nice bath on the way through this thing. The parts dwell on the way through the washer. It takes about 12 minutes for a part to get through the washer. So they pass through very slowly, and they get very thoroughly washed and rinsed. Okay, so that's the second stage. We're getting down kind of dark down here. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see. And this is the third stage, which is kind of a wrench sealer section. This is kind of a wild card for the customer. They can put almost any material they want in this water. Some guys, they put a sealer in sometimes in the water to enhance the powder coat adhesion. So they might put some kind of a sealer or something just to spray a light coat on the way through. So this is on the exit end of the washer. And then we come out and it's got a very long pitched drain pan here on the way out. And see, up here we make a turn. That's where the I-beam turns right here. It turns from stainless steel here and goes back to black iron there. So through the washer we're stainless, but after we get out in the general open area, the conveyor just turns into regular steel. And then we make a turn. That's a, can I zoom in on that? Yeah, we can zoom in on that. That's a roller bearing, 90-degree turn. And then it turns, looks a hard left, and makes a little chicane down. And we head into an oven. I'm walking around on a drain pan. And it goes through that, it's called a key. As a conveyor key, and it's going to head into that side of the washer. Bill Nebergall, good morning. And the conveyor's not finished there. The oven's not finished either. We've got a long way to go on the oven. And there's one of the air handlers for the oven. I'm going to get down off the washer and take you in and show you around the oven. The oven is partially complete, and then I'll take you over and show you the powder booth too. But let me find a way down here. I think I'm gonna have to climb out the way I climbed in. Let me back out of this door. This is a little bulkhead door right here in the washer. This is so people can get in and out. And there's a little staircase down here. They give you a little staircase to get in and out. But it's not very big, you know, it's not for big guys like me. So let me, I gotta back my ass out of here. I'm trying not to bang my head too hard. Okay. And there's your stainless steel door with a drain-proof or a leak-proof, there's a sill right here that works like a rain gutter. So it's open on this bottom, so any water that gets sprayed into here just drains straight out. And the construction is all the same. These are two separate panels right here, and each panel ends right about here and here. And then we use a sealing washer here that this mates up to the inner structure. It's got a rubber gasket on it right here. And these go together, so these polyethylene panels are gonna, when the water gets hot and it heats up, they're gonna expand and contract. The panel can move independently behind these stainless steel rails. And she's a tall sucker. She's 14 foot tall off of the tank top. And see all the polyethylene tucks into this rail, and it tucks behind here, and then this actual panel ends way down here inside, so there's no way this thing can leak. And it's amazing, this whole washer goes together without a single tube of caulking, just literally no sealer, and they don't leak. And I'll let you look down the long axis of that washer one last time. Stan, you still got your brown MSA skull guard? I do. I'm wearing it right now. And we can take you over in the oven and show you the oven now. And like I said, this is the conveyor key where the parts come through, which is actually an air knife. If you look here, there's a little slot, and it's actually angled. It pitches in this direction, and this whole, all the way around, this whole surround gets pressurized by a blower, and it recirculates. So it takes the hot air and blows it into the air knife, and then it gets a hold of the hot air again, so it sits there and recirculates, so you're never introducing cold air into the oven. But that's an air knife. And off of here, we're going to build a 5-foot vestibule that comes out. So it's, and that, there's the air knife directions there. So the top section blows into the oven, the bottom section blows out of the oven. So the hot air that's going to cling to the top of the oven is going to kind of push back into the oven. This one pushes out, and the recirculation fan gets a hold of that. But it completely surrounds the parts of a, they call it an air knife. And it goes all the way around the conveyor slot. Pretty interesting. Oh, and they're adjustable too. If you release these screws, this knife can move in and out to adjust the width of the air knife. All right, let's go back around to the air handler. This is one of the 2 air handlers. The motor sits right on the floor. The blower sits down low. There's your gas train right there. And all the gas train controls are in that box right there. And the burner is actually right on top of this box. It probably doesn't look like it. This sucker weighs about 7,200 pounds. This is a heavy ass box. We stood these up the other day. They ship them laying down. And we'll bring it around and show you the actual oven. On my Instagram, if you want to go over on Instagram, go check out Barzy Industrial. I got a quiz up. I want to know why these are staggered and why we've got holes across a cross section of an oven panel. And I want the exact engineering terminology, why we do that. Anyways, this is the inside of the oven. And like I said, the job site's still a mess. And there's the other side of that conveyor key. Parts are going to come in straight out of the washer and come through this oven and get dehydrated. And they roll all the way through to that side of the oven where they exit. And the rest of this here is all going to be oven. All this. And this oven is no joke either. I'm probably going to blow out the camera. It's 14 foot high. And this is all 3/16 4x4 square tube, all welded together here in the field. It's just too big to ship on a truck. We call this a chassis oven. It's got an internal chassis. And those, you can see up there where they bolt those directly to the wall panels. And then there's a floor channel that gets bolted down to the floor and welded to the backside of all the columns before all these wall panels go in. So this back wall is done. I'm going to pull back a little bit and let's kind of get the magnitude of this oven. This thing is massive. Ted, Mike, and Lewis said hello. Well, hello, Ted, Mike, and Lewis. All right, I'm far enough away from it now. You can kind of get a idea how big this oven is and how big the structure is. All right, pretty big, a lot of steel. It took us about 4 or 5 days to get the steel hung, welded together, squared up, and ready to put in panels. Oh, here's a view of the burner. There's the burner that sits up top, and then it fires. It's a direct fired heater, and that fires straight down. And then the blower is down here in the bottom, and the blower mixes the cold air with that return air, mixes the cold air with the hot air, and spits it out of that duct right there. But here's our exit section of the oven. That's where the parts come out of this conveyor key. And it's another air knife. Same thing. And it's probably going to get kind of dark over here. I head in this direction next. We've, at this point, washed and we've dried and preheated our parts. So our parts coming out of the oven, it was a real short pass on the back side of the oven. Parts are probably 125 to 150 degrees. All right. John, this is a high production powder coat line. This thing is going to crank out the parts like you wouldn't believe. Okay, so we come down here and then we hook a left, and now we're going through a powder coating booth. And that powder coating booth's got a conveyor slot down the full top. So we're building that conveyor is going to go over this. And this is all GEMA. This is there's a HMI panel there. And the painters just climbed this set of stairs right here. And there's a powder gun control panel, manual gun in there. And it's all stainless steel floor. And here's the center section. This is going to get used for automatic guns here in the middle, for reciprocators. I'll show you the reciprocator stuff outside here in a little while. But this center section is basically your powder is fluidized. So this is literally a cloud of charged powder, electrostatically charged. And as the parts come by, they're grounded, and they'll cling to the parts on the way by. But out here is I'm standing in the manual section of the powder booth. This is where we have operators out here. So small parts or different colors would get done out here. If they've got a big run, they're going to use the reciprocating guns out here and do it automatically. Let's go over and look at the reciprocators. Aren't in yet. Probably sitting on a boat somewhere, just like everything else in the world. But this is the actual spray booth. And this slot right here, that you see going from here to here, that actually gets cut out. This has got a plug right here that gets knocked out, and your reciprocating guns just poke through the walls, and then a reciprocator sits right here on the floor. And basically the guns they just sit there and reciprocate up, down, and they're firing the whole time. So that center chamber is literally a cloud of powder that's electrostatically charged. And as the parts pass through, they get coated. And there's a slot on each side. They're 180 degrees apart. And there's some of the system underneath in the basement. Fluidization of the powder. This is the control panel for the powder. This is for all the reciprocating guns. There's a lot of guns. Here's a workstation by GEMA. This is called the GEMA Magic Booth. That's where they mix their powder and reclaim their powder. And over on this end, we've got two more manual gun stations too. So we can have 4 manual painters or 2 reciprocators running. Never both. They choose. Another HMI there. Maybe in a few months we'll bring it back and show you this system up and running. And over on this side we've got a collector. That's where it comes out of the basement and collects the powder and comes up to the top and goes into this cartridge. There's cartridge filters in there. Hopper for reclaim, and they would just park a drum under here and pull out either their waste or their reclaim powder. And if I can sneak through here, I can show you the blowers and stuff. Here's your blower and your motor and your throttle damper. I think that's a big 80 horse blower, high pressure blower. And that just blows up through a muffler because that thing is loud. There's a sound reduction chamber there. and goes up to a HEPA box up there, and we just blow the air right back into the room. So it gets filtered twice on the way through, and that's it. What they are doing later, which is interesting, they're doing a pit over here for a cyclone, which is a bigger capacity filtration system. So this pit's going to have a staircase, and the cyclone actually drops in the hole because there's not enough ceiling height for it to stand up. We have to, as it gets put in pieces down in the hole, because it literally doesn't fit in the building, so they had to dig a hole for it to sit in. And they've already put in the control for that. That's the control for the cyclone. The cyclone, unfortunately, is not here yet. I don't know. What do you guys say? Does this look expensive to you? Would anyone like to take a guess of what the whole system costs? New electrical service to run the whole place? They just put a new electrical service in. I didn't do this work, but they had the electricians come in and land this service to run the whole system. Looks nice. He's doing a nice job. But that's pretty much the whole thing for you guys to see around my job site. Here's a conveyor take-up. This is a 180-degree sweep. What happens when a conveyor is running through an oven, the chain gets hot. As the chain gets hot, the chain stretches. During the day, the chain gets hotter and hotter and hotter, and the chain will usually grow about a foot or a foot and a half during the course of a regular working day. So what they use is a big air cylinder right here, and this is essentially a telescoping section that moves in and out. So they use a small amount of air pressure in that air cylinder to keep tension on the chain, and they run about 20 or 30 psi in that air cylinder to keep the chain tight. And those are all my 90-degree turns outside of the oven. Those are all greased roller bearing 90-degree turns. Those are the blowers for the air knives. Those are the motors for the two big air handlers on the oven. And then the 90-degree turns inside the oven are interesting. We can't put roller bearings in there because the grease will melt the grease out of them. So this is a graphite bushing inside what we call a wagon wheel. And these are 180-degree turns. This is the actual I-beam right here. And you see where it sweeps around. And it comes over here. This thing's sitting upside down right now. And it flips over. Doesn't look like a Class B Division 2. No, it's far enough away from the booth. It doesn't need to be Class 1 Div 2. It's a good 30 feet away from the spray booth, so we don't need a Class 1 Div 2 there. Good question, though. This thing's sitting upside down. Parts in the rollers sit there and rolls around the corner there. But that bushing there, graphite, requires no lubrication, and it'll live in a 450-degree environment all day, every day for the rest of its life. And I've got 280-degree turns and 4 90-degree turns, and these aren't painted because they're going in the oven. We just burn the paint off of them anyway, so they're just black iron. That's all they're going to be. And here's a bunch more oven panels. Like I say, we're still building the oven down there. Good morning, Al. How you doing? And these are all roof panels. Like I say, we're waiting for those to dry out. They got wet out in the rain. But it was a little slow here on a Saturday, so I thought I'd bring you guys along for the ride and kind of show you around our job site and what I've been up to for the last couple months we've been here. And we got a few people working here today. Those guys are over there putting in some wall panels in the oven. Doing good. All right, you guys have been pretty quiet this morning, but we got a nice bunch of viewers here. You guys are awesome for tuning in. Looks like I have lost the chat. No, you're right there, Stephen. I see you. Okay, guys. Well, if no one's got any more questions for me, I'm gonna wrap it up. We've been live for 30 minutes, which is just an average video. It's a good time. And I'm gonna go get to work. Literally, I'm doing nothing right now, so I'm gonna go help my guys hang some wall panels. I have not seen anyone else. Yeah, there's only a couple people there. Oh, Bill's just enjoying the show. Okay, well, I mean, if you guys have questions for me, I'll answer them. Got a couple questions about the electrical panel. Get some coffee. Yeah, I got some coffee over at my desk. I'm gonna go drink some coffee right now. All right, you guys, I appreciate you watching. I want you to enjoy your weekend. If I don't talk to you before Christmas, have a good Christmas. And I hope everyone has a happy and prosperous new year. I'm going to sign off. We'll talk to you guys later.